Hello everybody and welcome back to Expert Examiner IELTS. My name is Glyn and in this video we have another IELTS writing check. Writing task 2, academic essay. Let's take a look. Okay, so of course we start by reading the question. Nowadays children mostly spend time playing computer games rather than sports. So 3 important things: children, not adults. And the 2 activities: playing computer games, not watching sports. Is it a positive or negative development? So this isn't do you agree or which one is better or why is maybe sports. Well, kind of is which one is better, but most importantly, nowadays children mostly spend time playing computer games rather than sport. We must accept this as a fact. Even if we don't think it's really true, even if it's not true where we live, that's absolutely fine. But in this essay, we must accept it as a fact. Is it a positive or negative development? So is it a good thing that children nowadays mostly spend time playing computer games instead of sports? Or is it a bad thing that children nowadays mostly spend time playing computer games and not sports? Much easier just to pick a side here. Positive or negative? Yes, it's a positive thing because blah, 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 blah. No, it's a negative thing because blah, 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 blah. And again, a 4-paragraph structure is absolutely fine for any IELTS essay. You have the introduction, and in this essay, a suitable structure would be: you have your typical introduction, you state whether it's a positive or negative development. Then if you think it's a negative development, you have body paragraph 1. The first reason why it's a negative development is, and then you explain. And then paragraph 2, secondly, and then you give another reason and explain, and then a conclusion. But okay, there's not a rule 100% that it must be 4 paragraphs. But whenever I see a task like this, whenever I see writing like this, and I see 5 paragraphs, I just think, why? Why does the candidate choose to write in 5 paragraphs instead of 4? Maybe they just haven't trained, I don't know. I just think it's so much easier just to have 4 paragraphs everywhere. But okay, first thing I want to do is just check the word count here. So it looks kind of long. I would guess maybe 320 words. Let's see. Oh, wow, 363 words. So that's the first thing that bothers me. 363 words. And again, if you write in 5 paragraphs instead of 4 paragraphs, probably your word count is going to be high. Remember, you must write at least 250 words. My general rule is, try not to write more than 300 words. Give yourself a ceiling of 300 words. And if you go a little bit over, maybe 310 is okay. But 363, for me, it's too much. The biggest problem with this, of course, is the time. You have 40 minutes. And, if you're writing 363 words, it could take a little bit more time. But okay, let's have a look at the essay itself. Recently, there has been a trend of many children preferring computer games to sports. Okay, that's a direct paraphrase of this. So I can see the strategy there. I like a general statement, but okay. Paraphrase is fine. In my opinion, while this development is not without its benefits, very nice expression there, is not without its benefits. Beautiful, beautiful language. Its drawbacks are far greater. Okay, far greater in terms of academic writing, maybe is okay. Considerably or significantly. Far is okay. Greater, maybe it's fine for academic writing, but maybe there's just a more academic alternative that could be more suitable, but okay, not a big problem. I'm just going to mark that as, let's put it gold. Okay, so the introduction is very short, but it does the job, right? We've introduced the subject and we've stated our position. Great. So I hope we get a bunch of paragraphs now talking about the drawbacks, the negative side, explaining why playing computer games is bad for children. To begin with, some good signposting language. We could go with firstly, but to begin with, fine, good signposting. There are numerous advantages of virtual games. Hold on. Let me just read this introduction again. In my opinion, while this development is not without its benefits, so it does have positive sides, its drawbacks are far greater, so there are lots of negatives. So really, to get a nice natural logical flow, we want to start not with the advantages, but we want to start with the disadvantages. We want to explain why they are bad. At least that's what I think. So it sounds strange to say, yeah, there are good reasons, but there are lots of serious problems. Anyway, to begin with, the good thing about virtual games, I don't like it. So numerous advantages of virtual games. Why virtual games? I don't know exactly what virtual games means here. Are all games virtual games? Video games, perhaps, but I don't know about virtual games, so a bit strange. That children could certainly... to begin with, there are numerous advantages of virtual games that children could certainly get them. Don't know what this means, to get them. We don't need to repeat the pronoun here either, that children could certainly get. We don't need to repeat the pronoun, the rules of relative clauses. It can be tricky, but I don't like this. I would avoid get in most academic essays, but okay. These sort of games, maybe these sorts of games, typically lead young people to think deeply and to be open-minded in order to solve problems given to move on to the okay, so I have to reread this one to try to make sense of it. So the language is just breaking down a little bit, coherence is breaking down. I get what they mean, but I have to reread it because the sentence is complicated. And also it's not very clear. Oh, it teaches you to be open-minded. How? It teaches you to solve problems. Okay, solve problems to get to the next stage. But I don't know about this open-minded. You haven't really explained this, but maybe you will. Take puzzle games or strategy games as example. For example, or as examples, maybe. I don't know why there is capitalization of puzzle here. I don't know why there's a capital letter, big P for puzzle. Don't know. Okay. As examples, which have been common games among youths. Okay, but what is the purpose of this? Which have been common games? Why present perfect here? Why are we talking about past? I'm not quite sure. Seems a bit irrelevant. Anyway, if children start playing these games, they obviously have an improvement. So an improvement. This is very, very, elementary. An improvement. A banana, but an apple. If children start playing these games, they obviously have an improvement in their brain. Yeah, that's not academic to say when children start playing games, they have an improvement in their brain. It's just not an academic argument, sorry. Because they usually should make a plan or reach a strategic decision. I don't know why there is a full stop after strategic. That is so strange. These are mistakes that you, candidate, should find. You should find those mistakes yourself. Okay, so maybe instead of an improvement in their brain, maybe you could say that it helps to improve your strategizing skills instead of an improvement in your brain. And these affords prompt children to be more clever. First, that's not an academic argument that it necessarily makes them more clever. And secondly, and these affords prompt children. That is not an English sentence. Sorry. Makes no sense at all. And these affords prompt children. Sorry. No idea what you mean then. However, although there are benefits for... Okay, so this is now the... I don't like this structure where, you say that there are... You say that the drawbacks are far greater, and then you start by talking about the positives of computer games. So I think you can just delete this paragraph totally, and just focus on the negative. Just focus on the negatives. But let's see how you deal with the negatives. However, although there are useful benefits for children, children's health is often cited as important as their life. This is completely irrelevant. It's totally obvious. Health is important for every sentient being. Every animal and human on this planet, health is important for them. It doesn't. You aren't doing anything when you say health is important for children. We all know that. Children always spend. So I don't like this maximalist language in academic writing. We want tentative, not maximalist, hedging language. So the difference between this always happens versus this is known to happen on a regular basis, right? There's a difference between those two sentences. In academic language, we don't use this maximalist language. Children always spend more time than enough to online games. Okay, so spend time on online games, but more than enough, I don't know what's going on there. So lots of grammatical errors and spend more time than enough to online games. Sorry. If they get accustomed without disciplines. So this is kind of word salad. It's just a bunch of words put together, but it doesn't create any meaning for the target reader. But let's see if they explain. For instance, I suppose I don't like this personal language really early. I think personal language in the conclusion is fine, but in the body, I don't want to see personal language. I want to see arguments presented, explained, developed, supported, but I don't want to see personal language. For instance, I suppose that devices or gadgets certainly negatively impact on children's health. Okay, we know that you believe that computer games negatively impact people's health, children's health. You've mentioned it. We don't need to restate that. Tell us why it's unhealthy. As a consequence, the demand for hospitals is increasing. That's just not true, is it? I don't think the demand for hospitals is increasing because children play video games. I think that's not proven. What I mean by this, again, very personal language. We have no capitalization at the beginning of a sentence, so that's odd. What I mean by this, spending money to heal children's disease. Can you point to a disease that you get from a device? Also, device is spelt incorrectly. What diseases do children get from using devices? Don't know if that's true. Is worse than having a benefit through these. So basically, you're saying bad things are worse than good things, right? Spending money to heal children's disease got from devices is worse than having a benefit through these games. I think I get what you mean, like the disadvantages outweigh the advantages or something like this, but okay, it's confusing. Furthermore, good signposting language. The candidate does use good signposting language. In light of online games, in light of is very nice language, but this should be used as an adverbial at the beginning, so not as the subject. It's all very technical, but from a linguistic point of view, it's wrong. In light of online games are the best choice. That's wrong. In light of online games being the best choice is fine, but nah. So in light of is good, but the candidate doesn't know how to use the grammar with in light of here. In light of to spend time quickly for children, these types of habits, or these types of habits, I guess. Okay. I'm trying to make sense of so we want to begin each paragraph with like a topic sentence. The main idea of the paragraph should be in the first line of the paragraph. So let's just read that again. Furthermore, In light of online games are the best choice to spend time quickly for children, these types of habits are frequently mentioned as a negative development. That isn't a good topic sentence. I don't know what this paragraph is about. I only know that online games are the best choice to spend time quickly for children, and that people often say that this is bad. This is not an argument that you're presenting. So what might be arguments? Well, one argument is that it's distracting for children, that children get addicted to these, and because they get addicted, maybe they don't have time to spend on their homework. Another argument is that it's antisocial. When you play computer games, you often sit alone in your room and you don't communicate with your friends. Another argument might be that it can be not good for your physical health, meaning you don't do physical exercise when you play video games, you just sit down. This leads to a sedentary lifestyle where you're just sitting, and this can lead to problems like putting on weight because you don't burn so many calories when you're just sitting. All of these are good arguments to say why children playing video games isn't very positive. But the candidate doesn't mention those, really. Okay, instead, they should dedicate their spare time to do sports. Dedicate your time to doing sports, I think, is better, but okay. For example, football, volleyball, tennis, or boxing. Okay, are we just listing sports here? Why 4? I don't know. Could offer children more advantages compared to esports, including positive atmosphere, a positive atmosphere, and enjoyable hours with teammates. Okay. From my perspective, again, we have a lot of personal language here. We don't want so much personal language in the body. Personal language, a bit in the conclusion, fine. Spending a significant amount of time for computer games on computer games is not also harmful to health. Whoa. Spending a significant amount of time on computer games is not also harmful to health. Not only harmful to health. So can you see the amount of interpretation I have to do here? I have to read, I have to reread, I have to speculate, and then go, that's what the candidate means. If an examiner has to do this, it's not a good sign for coherence. But also a waste of time, despite having several benefits, and they are undoubtedly eclipsed by. Okay, to be eclipsed by, that's very good language. So in parts here, we have a couple of nice bits of language, like in light of is good, eclipsed by is good, not without its benefits is good. So there are just a few fixed expressions that the candidate has done well. But okay. In conclusion, children spending time to virtual games. So we've had spend time to, we've had spend time for, but the correct preposition is spend time on. And again, virtual games. I don't know why virtual games. Maybe candidate means video games. Has been a common topic. That doesn't mean anything. It has been In conclusion, children spending time to virtual games has been a common topic. That isn't a sentence. It's not a sentence that makes sense. Or it's not a sentence that is relevant to this essay. Okay, I believe that the drawback are more than its benefits. There are more drawbacks, maybe. There are more drawbacks than benefits. So this sentence, this clause, sorry. For example, getting sick by using a computer. Okay, now, well, maybe this would have been maybe a nice thing. Using a computer for a long time. Maybe the candidate could have talked about that earlier. I know the candidate mentioned diseases, but I don't know. Getting sick by using computer for a long time is just openly argued by some. Again, it's not academic, it's not making any point, it's just word salad. One of the worst drawbacks is to get accustomed to play online games without schedule. this seems to be a new idea. We don't want to introduce new ideas in our conclusion. It leads children to miss their adolescence. That's not really true. Okay, let's get into marks. So, task response. I have to say a 5. I know. Let me just talk it out. So, task response is a 5. Why? Because I know that the candidate believes that video games are mostly negative compared to playing sports, and I see a few ideas like you can get sick. Doing sports is better because you can spend time with your teammates. But many of the points just aren't true or aren't explained, like you get disease from devices, or this means that hospitals are busier because children get disease from video games. All of that stuff is either not true or not really relevant. So I know the candidate's position. They've attempted to explain it, but not with any kind of skill. Okay. Coherence and cohesion. So firstly, there are some good bits of signposting language. We get in conclusion. We get furthermore. We get however. At the beginning of paragraphs, we get it. We get to begin with. All of that is good stuff. So cohesive devices are all right. We get some other things like other discourse markers, like for example, as a consequence we get here. So the range of cohesive devices is pretty good, but the cohesion of the text in general I don't think is very good. Firstly, we have 5 paragraphs. Secondly, the candidate begins by saying that it's a negative development and then starts talking about the positives. Then also, the topic sentences aren't always good, right? Furthermore, in light of online games, they're our best choice to spend time quickly for children. That's not coherent, and in terms of the logical flow, I want to see that topic sentence at the beginning of the paragraph, and I just don't see it. Could I really say... No, I can't, because so many of the ideas are also presented unclearly or... Yeah, I have to drop that to a 5-2, unfortunately. Lexical resource. Let's take a look. So there are some good words there. I mean, there's some faulty spelling, like devices. Also, I don't know if disease is the right word here. Can I find any topic-specific vocab? Virtual games, that's wrong. That's not the right collocation. I think video games is better. We do get collocation like to solve problems. That's fine. But anything relevant to the topic, we get esports. Esports is relevant to the topic. Cool. Teammates is relevant to sport. That's okay. We get drawback, benefits. Cool. All of that is good. That's showing some awareness of style. It's not very academic in terms of its language, like with get them. So I think 6 is fair. I think there is enough vocabulary in there. Strategy games, puzzle games, for example. There is enough topic-specific vocab in there. I don't think the lexical resource is skillfully used, but the range is decent. So I think there is enough for a 6 for that. And grammatical range and accuracy, let's just put GRA. So I guess we get a good variety of sentence structure, sentence types. So that puts it at least at a 5. Let's just check. And children always. Sorry, I'm just looking at the different sentence types. A little bit faulty. I'm just trying to find some examples of good, either like coordination or subordination. Yeah, we get it here. No, we don't. We do get it here. While this development is not without its benefits, subordination, its drawbacks are far greater. Cool. If children start playing these games, they obviously have an improvement in their brain. But then this isn't linked very correctly. Okay. So we do get some complex sentences. Range of grammar, there's often just present perfect used, I think, just because the candidate wants to use present perfect. Children spending time to virtual games has been a common topic. I don't know, why not, like, is an important question. I don't know why present perfect here. It just seems like the candidate is using it just to try to use present perfect, but not using it appropriately. So I can't really give points for that range. Getting sick, using a gerund as the subject of the sentence. That is getting sick by using a computer for a long time. That is quite a complicated, quite a complex subject then. One of the worst drawback. Okay, we get problems with singular and plural. One of the worst drawbacks is what it should be. Lots of mistakes with articles in there, and lots of mistakes with singular and plural. These type. So I don't know. Is there enough? A big problem is that some of the grammar mistakes certainly, and this could be a vocab thing too, but a lot of the grammar errors lead to confusion. If they get accustomed without disciplines. Is that vocab? Is it grammar? But it certainly leads to a lot of confusion. Children's health is often cited as important as their life. This grammar point also leads to confusion. Frequency of grammar mistakes is also quite high. I think probably 5 for grammatical range and accuracy. So okay, what did we get? 5, 5, 6, 5. So overall, that gives you 5.25, which will round down to 5.0 in the test, in the exam. 5.0 in total, so intermediate. Things to work on for this candidate. Firstly, write IELTS essays in 4 paragraphs. Secondly, try to avoid using complicated language. It seems that you are trying too hard to use complicated language. Most importantly, you have to understand what it means to write an essay, to write an academic essay. It seems that the candidate here doesn't know what it means to present and support an argument. The candidate doesn't know where they should use personal language, where they should use tentative or hedging language. The candidate doesn't have an understanding of how to write an essay. The candidate does show a lot of positive signs with their language. They have some good vocab, they have some even good grammatical structures, but the candidate unfortunately doesn't know how to write an academic essay. And yeah, it's the biggest problem here is the academic skills, not the language skills. But I guess I will leave it there. I hope you found that useful or interesting. A lot of people have written to me recently requesting either writing checks or speaking checks. Please do be patient. Right now, I can't guarantee that everyone will get their writing check or their speaking check simply because I am one human. And if I get, for example, 50 requests, I can't do 50 writing checks and 50 speaking checks. I just can't do that. If I get 50 a week, I just can't do it. I can probably do maybe 2 or 3 a week maximum. So, sorry. But if you are interested, you might get lucky. Please do contact me if you want to have a writing check or a speaking check. Information on how to contact me is given below. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. And I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.